Good morning. Thank you for joining us for our Facebook Live event, Shopping the Showhomes. This is episode 3 of a series, Help Anyone That Is Shopping for Their Next Property by Visiting the Showhomes.
We want to share our experiences and information regarding purchasing a new home from a new home builder or developer.
So if you do have any questions during our little Facebook Live event this morning, feel free to add a question on the bottom, or if this is after the fact, then add a question and we will answer as best we can.
My name is Maria Marcos. I'm a realtor with YEGPro Realty. Previously, I was in new home sales for just over 13 years, mainly as an area manager.
And my name is Johan Aceron-McLean, and I am also a licensed realtor here at YEGPro Realty. I was in the new home industry for almost 7 years, mostly as an area manager. I also worked as a sales manager for one of our downtown condo projects.
Yeah. So today we want to talk to you about terminology. So some terms you might hear in the show homes. We want to kind of explain a little bit more to you.
Yes, so if you wanted to start prior to even bouncing around to the show homes and you're eyeing some of the communities, you can look up the neighborhood area structure plans, or the NASPs of any community. So basically, it's a very lengthy document, sometimes 80, 120 pages, that really describes what these new communities are going to have. The main one that I like to get to is the map. So you'll see just land, but the map will give you an idea of where the roads that they're going to have in there are planned, if they're going to have an area for schools, where the stormwater ponds are going to be, if it's going to be single family homes, maybe some duplexes, maybe some row housing. The NASP of any neighborhood will give you that kind of information.
And then secondly, you want to look at the amenity map. So an amenity map just shows you where the community is in regards to where the, let's say, schools are, shopping, grocery, banks, things like that.
Right,
Yeah.
and then from the amenity maps, then you can boil down to a community map for any area, and that will give you more specifically, again, about what's happening within that community, and then it gets broken down even still.
The community map, sorry.
That's okay, then stages.
Stages.
Yeah.
So the development of communities are usually broken down into stages.
Mm-hmm.
So depending on, when you come into the development of the project, there'll be different stages. So you'll be able to see how the community will be developed. Stage 1, then stage 2, stage 3.
Yep, and then within the stages, it breaks it down into different blocks. So you'll have, usually it is literally a block, and this will be block 2. The one across will be block 3, and a lot of times the builders do sell out by blocks even still from the stages, just to kind of keep all the construction happening within a certain area.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So then you'll have the lot maps. What you'll find, like the single family lots, multifamily lots, and then the lots will have a pocket, which is, there'll be a number that's on there. So what that pocket, let's say you see a 28, 20, 30, what that means is that's the width of the house that will fit in that pocket.
In feet.
And so, in feet,
right, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So a 26 wide house will fit, when you see the building pocket has a little 26 in it. However, the width of the lot is more. Mm-hmm. So within the lot, if you can follow with us, they have this pocket. And so your house has to fit within the pocket, giving some area space still in between. Mm-hmm. So with most communities, there's going to be a specific number, say 4 feet. So you know that on your lot, if you've got 4 feet from the end of your house, the side of the house, your neighbor will as well. So then you'll know you're about 8 feet in between you and your neighbor. Mm-hmm. And again, every area is a little bit different as far as how wide and how much house you have to fit on a lot. Yeah. So we can talk to that too.
Yeah, how much you fit.
Right. So it's a percentage sometimes of how big the house has to be on a specific lot, so that you don't have all these different lots with houses that are too big and too small. So they have to fit a certain percentage. So if you can follow along, if you have a house, it's only 26 feet wide, but the lot you want, say, is 32 feet wide. You have to widen the house so it looks like it fits on the lot. So you don't have to buy a bigger house because you want that lot. A lot of times you can just widen the front, which means a nice wider garage. Right? Which is a lot less expensive than getting just a bigger house.
You might have to just widen the whole front of the house, depending on the area requirements.
Right.
So there's ways, right? But they don't want like small houses built on big lots, and that would just make the community look not uniform. Right,
because there's an aesthetic typically to most of the communities. That also applies to the length. We were shopping around one of the communities, and they had some really great lots. It fronted onto some trees, but they were very short. So you're very limited with what you could have, because same thing, you can't have a house that's too long on a lot that only fits a certain amount.
And
so
you have to consider your deck also has to fit in the pocket. So if you're going to build a deck, make sure that there's enough room in the pocket to build it.
So those are just things that it might feel like when you're in a show home talking to an area manager, it can get a bit technical, and you might have your heart set on this house, but now you can't build it on the lot you want. So there are little things that you maybe can do to adjust. Depends on the builder as well. Some might be a little bit more lax and might have things that they can do to help maybe narrow the house, etc. But you can't really just narrow a house. It does change the plans. But again, having Maria and I with you to help guide you through that process would help too, because it gets very entailed, and especially if you're going from builder to builder and everybody says something a little bit different.
So then we've got inventory lots that the builder owns, and then there's pooled lots that are owned by the developer that are open to any builder could buy that lot. Let's say you walk in, you see the home that you love, and the builder will show you their inventory lots, and if you can't find anything there, you can go on to a pooled lot, and then there's sometimes situations where builders can swap lots as well. So let's say you really love this lot, but the builder next door owns it. That builder you're dealing with can call that builder and say, hey, let's swap.
And then it has to be agreed by everyone. That doesn't always happen, but it is an option. So if there is a lot you have your heart set on, sometimes you do need to just figure out, well, which builder owns that lot, and if it's pooled, then any of the builders can purchase it. So that's sometimes a hiccup as well if you're set on building something very specifically, backing onto the trees or being beside a walkway, etc.
And just know that if you do really love a pooled lot, any of the builders in that show home parade can purchase it. So if you want to put it on hold, make sure you put it on hold, or there's a chance that the builder next door can have another client and sell that lot.
Yes, so there might be another buyer out there that specific area manager is not aware of. So especially the pooled lots, you really do want to throw in a deposit just to hold it for a couple of weeks while you're considering it.
And that is a lot hold.
Yes.
So
then there's a few other things we wanted to touch on, like setbacks. So that just means where within your pocket your house is going to sit, and sometimes that can affect how short or how long your driveway is going to be. It can affect where you sit with your neighbor. So if you have a half bath downstairs with a window, you might not want to line up with their half bath on their side. So then if the houses are a little bit offset, then that can help. For, say, a detached house, with a single family house with a detached garage. So this happened to someone we knew, they ended up, the city decided that they were going to push the garage, the detached garage, back to give them a bit of an apron, and that just means it's a bit of a driveway, if you will, instead of just pulling into a garage from the alley. But what that did was bring the detached house and the detached garage closer together, and so it left for a lot smaller of
Front yard?
backyard.
Backyard. Oh.
Yes, because
okay.
the garage was in the back,
Oh.
and it pushed the garage back. So, and then that's something you can't really do anything about short of selling your property. So things like that can happen as well.
Yeah. But your area manager will plot the house on a plot plan, so you'll have a pretty good idea where everything will sit.
Yeah, unless the city decides to change it
Change
while
it.
you're building.
Yeah.
Yes, so that's kind of what
That can
happens.
happen.
So it can happen.
Yeah.
Architectural controls we can talk about.
So the architectural controls are set by the developer. Those are things like what the exteriors need to look like, repetition of the house colors. So if you want a blue house, but the house next door is also blue,
Right.
you likely will not be approved.
No.
You'll have to either find a lot that's maybe 3 doors down, or pick a different house color. So those are guidelines set on by the developer. Also, there's things like a high visibility lot, which means that you're more exposed. So the side of your house, the back of your house is just more visible. So you could be in the corner, so the corner is more visible, or backing onto a park or pond. So you're more visible, so they like you to dress up the house more.
Right. So
yeah.
that could mean your windows from the outside might have more trim. You might need an extra roof line, and it's purely just for aesthetics. So if you're backing on to someone else, it doesn't matter because you're just backing on to another neighbor. But again, if you're on a side, on the corner, if you're backing something, they do have to dress up the side, which sometimes can cost $5,000-$10,000. And if you didn't want to have to pay that, then you would just pick a different lot. But there is a bit of a premium, absolutely, if you're picking something that is more high visibility, and that's determined by the developer. On the lot maps, it actually does show you which ones are high visibility. So if you pick one of those lots, be prepared to spend a little bit extra to be on that specific lot. Another would be for high visibility. For architectural controls, colors. There's premium colors. Then there's your standard. If you drive through the newer communities, you'll see some of them are a lot more dressed up, but it also costs more money to have those kinds of homes. So you can have, within Builder, this community versus that, it's the same house, but in one community it's going to cost more because it is a lot more dressed up aesthetically. If you want to be in a community that has higher architecturals, just know that the price will be a little bit more, but what you do get is a different look of your community.
Yeah, like more brick, more windows, more trim.
Right, or even like all of them have white trim, so it gives kind of a different look to it. Or what they have is premium colors, so the richer, deeper colors, you can have a whole community with that, and then you can have other communities where it's more muted and neutral, and if you did still want to up it, then again you just pay more for more of a premium color. Yeah.
So I'm talking about So we just want to leave you with a little tip. If you are shopping around, you can call us and we can help you. If you are trying to save some money, you've got, short on time, you need to find something sooner, don't want to wait to build 10, 12 months. A lot of builders have spec inventory. So what a spec is a home that they plan out and start building without it being sold. And they do that so that, buyers that have a shorter time frame can purchase. So,
right?
Yeah.
So you can have a spec model being built and it's 3 months away, 6 months away. Sometimes even in those cases, because it's already been started, they have a timeline. So you still could select your interior colors. You wouldn't be able to do any structural upgrades, like you couldn't, you know, make it 9-foot ceilings, etc. But you still can get in to somewhat personalize it. And then they go all the way up until complete. So if a spec model hasn't been sold, it's now completed, and say it's been sitting a month, 3, 6 months, these are the homes that you can probably get your best deal with, because the builder has carrying costs. So they need to pay the property taxes and utilities, etc. They much prefer to just get it off their books. So and another plus would be is you can actually walk through the house. You're not waiting to see what your house will look like. You can actually walk through. So if you do want that new home, didn't want to wait and wanted to save possibly thousands of dollars, the spec models that have been sitting the longest are probably your best bet. So that's where, again, Marie and I can come in and really help you negotiate. We like to win, get our clients the best deals. So that's our episode 3
for today. Thank you for watching. And again, if you have any questions, leave a comment. We love to answer, or give us a call.
So I'm Johan again at 780-999-4415.
And I'm Maria at 780-232-9231.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks.